Hello, everybody. We are back with Andres, aka Frazzi, and he got top 16 at the Online Regional that just happened this weekend.
Yep.
So tell us about the day real quick, and then we'll get into the deck profile.
It was a very long day. It was a lot of fun. I got to make it a top 16 with a goal of mine this season, which was to play Ribrianne or the trio from U2. This came in from one of my friends that plays Power Wish, Rockley for Life. He wouldn't drop the deck to play U2, which is his favorite deck. So I was, you know what? Since you're playing Power Wish, I will play U2 for you. So played it. I built it. The deck is really fun, very toolboxy, and it can push really hard too if you really know how to do it. So I guess we go to the deck and then we'll do the matchups right after.
All right, let's get into it.
All right. So to start with, we'll start with the one drops. Let's start with the leader first. So the leader has an active main that allows you to warp 2 cards from your deck. Pitch a U2 specifically, and then you get to draw 2 cards. This allows you to set up your drop and your warp early game to be able to free play, or not free play, but free play your 2 costs and then eventually evolve into the 4 costs. This deck mainly wants to go second because one of the requirements to awaken is to be able to have your Z extra card, which is support broadcast. So going second is very good for this deck because you are able to benefit from your active main, swing, combo, C-charge, and then be able to already set up UC extra for your turn 2, where you can push with the energy marker if you want to, or if you can save it for defense later on. Then we have here the cantrips. Let's go on the awaken side, I guess. On the awaken side, on attack, you're able to draw 2 cards and then warp a card from your hand into the drop. This allows you to be able to warp your secret. The secret of the deck is Cumber, bust a secret for the deck, and also you're able to warp your 4 costs, which you can eventually evolve on top of the 2 costs later on. The active battle of the leader, which is what allows you to free play your 2 costs, is either active main or active battle. You can send 2 of your U2 cards from your drop to your warp, and then you free play at 2 costs, which we'll go over in a little bit. We'll start first with the 1-drops. We have Rosie, which is your cantrip. You can play this. You're probably not gonna. You might play it turn 1 if you go first. You're definitely not playing this turn 1 if you're going second, because you want to be able to combo and set up the extra. On play, you can top 5 for a U2, and you can put 1 in your hand and then put 1 in your warp, which allows you to set up your warp as well. This one is really very good. Has a permanent that allows you to protect your U2 cards on offense. So the protection only works on your turn. It doesn't work on your opponent's turn. You can remove her instead of one of your U2 cards being removed. Then we have Ribrianne, which is pretty much it has 2 abilities. It's a negate and a counter. I mainly use it for the negate itself. I rarely use it for the counter. The negate, you pay 1, you discard a card from your hand, and you can negate the attack, and then you free play a U2, 2 cost specifically, I believe. Let me just double check. From your warp in rest mode. So this allows you to recycle your Ribriannes, which is a very good card for the deck that allows you to be in a couple things. And then last but not least, we have Kokunza. Honestly, this card never came into play. This was one of my targets to side out in the deck. It allows you to fix your warp and drop, but for the most part, this was my side. I never found myself in a position where I would play her. It always came out of the deck 100% of the time. In the Online Regional, this was a side out card. That's for the 1-drops. For the 2 costs, we have Rosie, which in our current meta is a very powerful card because you can play her through your leader. You can play any of your 2 costs by sending 2 of your U2s from your drop to your warp in active mana, active battle speed. Rosie on play, she allows you to. Another cool thing is they're all cantrips, so you're really not minusing out of hand. You're netting even, and you're able to take advantage on certain other things. For example, she allows you to warp 2 cards from the drop. In our current meta, where Boo is a very powerful deck, you're able to warp the barrier card if you're able to get rid of the barrier card from the board. You're able to really get rid of their 6-drops and 4-drops from the drop. You're really able to control them. This also comes in very clutch into blue matches where you can warp their drop and then not be able to spark and negate with D-Magic, which it got banned, but there's no talk about that yet. She also allows you to C-charge for free, which is very cool. Next, we have Kokunza. Again, there's another cantrip. You draw on play. Additionally, she is a mini topo. On play, you can target one of your opponent's battle cards, and if you want to attack with that card, they have to warp 2 cards out of hand. And that effect is until the end of your opponent's turn, so you can use it on your turn, and then you can use it on your opponent's turn. This deck came in clutch in the Boo matchups because if they're able to set up a very wide board, and if you don't have the right cards to clear their board on your turn, you're able to stall them or reduce the amount of swings. Like if they set up a double Piccolo, for example, Z battle card, you're able to force one on your turn that they cannot attack with, and then if they set up the second one, you can play another one on your opponent's turn. And then probably one of the best card in the deck, which is Ribrianne. Again, another cantrip. On play, she allows you to bean 2 of your cards. You can bean battle cards, you can bean your leader, which is very cool. And then they have to be specifically you 2, so you cannot be just beaning everything, but your leader is pretty much where you're gonna bean, as well as your Ribrianne herself. So that's for the 2 costs. This is your big engine where you're gonna be pretty much cycling through on your turn and your opponent's turn. Then we have your 4 costs, which through your Z extra, you're able to evolve on top of your 2 drops from the warp. So we have 3 of them. This is the Rosie 4 cost. She's a 25k. The field allows you to play them for 1, so you can pay 1 colorless, and then you can evolve on top of the 2 drops. Rosie on play, she allows you to restand one of your U2 Maidens squadron cards, which comes in very clutch as another one of your 4 costs is a double striker. And we'll talk about the kill potential on the deck in a little bit. Another cool thing is she has an active battle that you can unmill 2 cards. So you can take 2 cards from your warp that are U2s, you can put them at the bottom of your deck, and then you're able to combo with one of your U2s from a card under one of your U2s. So if you evolve on top of Rosie and you swim with Rosie, you can active battle come up with a 2 cost from underneath Rosie, for example. Then we have Kokunza 4-drop, which honestly I never really played this card throughout the entire regional. I was mainly pushing for game with Rosie and Ribrianne. But she did come in clutch in 1 game where I was able to warp multiple cards out of my opponent's hand. Her effect is she's a blocker. On play, she will gain barrier until the end of your opponent's turn. And then she will... Oh no, she gains barrier for the turn. So you want to evolve her if you want her to have barrier defensively on your opponent's turn. Most of the time you're not going to do that because the other effect is pretty cool. You can on swing, you can place 2, on mill 2 again. 2 of your U2 cards from your warp to the bottom of your deck, and your opponent has to warp a card out of hand. And then at the end of turn, she will restand. The auto is not once per turn, so there are some cool play lines. You can evolve, swing, have them warp a card from hand. Then you can evolve into Rosie to restand her again, and then swing again to warp another card out of hand. So if you feel the match, it really is very matchup dependent, but it's a really interesting play line you can go with. And then last but not least, we have the big beater of the deck, which is going to be the 4-cost Ribrianne. She is your double striker for the deck. Unfortunately, the deck doesn't have a lot of double strikers. A lot of it is single strikers, and when you're really pushing for game and time is getting close to being called out, you really want to make your attacks meaningful, and she's the one that does it. She's a double striker. On play, you can rest your Z extra to grab one of your 2 drops from your drop or warp, and then additionally on swing you can on-mill 2 to warp one of your opponent's battle cards. The auto to warp a card from their battle card is not once per turn, so you're able to, if you're able to swim with her, restand with Rose and swing again, you can use the auto twice. She becomes very beefy, especially if you play the Ribrianne that same turn. You can beam herself, she becomes a 15k, and then you can also evolve on top to make it a 30k double with no additional investments from hand. Very strong play, and that will be it for the evolve targets. The next one, it's another good card, very good card actually from this set that is being used in multiple decks right now. It's the trio or the squadron. The Squadron, you can play her for 1, and she is able to warp a battle card ignoring barrier 4 or less. Which in this meta, with the Boo matchup, you're able to set up the blocker barrier early game and really control the game at that point and control the drop with your Rosies. Additionally, also we have a red matchup, which another good card is a Goku blocker that has barrier. It's also 4 cost. She's able to help you push through that matchup as well. The other effect is on attack, you can burst 2 cards out of your deck to free play one of your 2 costs from your hand. And additionally, you're able to bean one of your cards. So you can bean herself, or you can bean with your free play, or you can even bean your leader. This card really allows you to set up the tempo of the game. Really set up your whiteboard to be able to push later on, or if you have to use cards for combo and cantrips. This one is the one that allows you to do it. This also, if you see it on curve, it can push really hard. But again, I wouldn't recommend pushing it every game. It has to be very matchup dependent. And then another spicy card here that we have is going to be, I have a 1-up Zamasu Z Unison. The reason for the Zamasu Z Unison is mainly it's going to be one of your warp targets from your leader effect. So draw 2, pitch 1, warp a card. But this allows you to set up an additional card for kill. I mentioned earlier that your only double striker of the deck is pretty much your Ribrianne. Zamasu allows you to have another target that could be a double striker, that could be the leader, the Unison, on any of your other Squadron Maidens, or any of your battle cards. You can set it up offensively, but it could also help you defensively. If your opponent attacks, you can down tick to bean your leader and give it double strike. Because double strike wouldn't matter defensively, but the bean will, especially if you back it up with a Ribriam and active battle, or if you back it up with Protector of the People. It becomes very hard to get an attack through Maidens. So very cool card, very, very techy. I will highly recommend you to include it in your deck list. Next, we have my super combo choice is Hellas. Mainly it's because I have this one foils. But additionally, it's because I do like the fact that you're able to pitch a card mid-combat to set up your drop to be able to free put you 2 costs. It does come in time. I tried the other super combo. I believe it was a Sparking 5 from Tournament of Power from the Team Booster. Very, very, very old that you can use at 5 life. But you don't pitch, you only draw 1. Whereas this one, if you overwhelm or if you only have 1 U2 in your drop, this allows you to, super combo, pitch a U2, and then active battle, play one of your Maidens, which can come in very clutch as well. She is a life of 4 super combo, but you get to pitch 1 at mid battle and draw 2 cards. That's it for my super combos. Next, we have my secret of choice, which is going to be obviously Cumber. This card, pretty much, if you set your opponent at 2 life and you play Cumber, it's pretty much GG. Very powerful card. You get to warp a card on play, and then you get to take one of their battle cards and burn a life. This card is insanely broken, and it's very foily, so definitely worth using here. Obviously, we're playing black, so we have to play the best black card in the game, Counterplay. If I'm not playing black, this is my most hated card ever. But if I'm playing black, this is my part of my mulligan. This card is gross. If you have a Z Unison set up, you can counterplay your opponent and tell them that they can't play the game. And you get to bean your leader and Z charge for no reason. Like, who created this card? But anyways, I use it while I can before it gets limited to 1. It's also 20k, and it's an Overrealm 5. For the most part, I used it as just a regular Overrealm. Most of my games I just didn't have, because we have to set up a Z extra for you to awaken. You really don't have the room to set up a Z Unison early game. So you're mainly using this just for removal. You're able to burst 2 as well, draw and C charge. The burst allows you to set up your drop in case you don't have enough U2s. You can go from there. Very good card. Busted. Next, we have a 1-of the Son Gohan rare. This comes in good into just any sneaky triple strikers, aka Boo. if you don't have a hard negating hand, you have a negate in your drop. So when your opponent attacks, this also bypasses counter window. So if any of your decks have a counter, you're able to negate during auto. You take a life, bottom deck a card, and you're able to negate the attack and play this in your battle area. Next we have Tenacious, Bottom deck Tenacious. This says your opponent can only attack with one battle card, and it's an overrun 6. Very, very strong card that got limited to 1, sadly. But have it as a 2-of, and have a third one on the side in case that is siding against very hyper aggro decks. It's an overrun 6. Normally I want to use this probably like turn 4, most likely, because early game you can sustain your leader with your beans and your protectors and so, and you can just have this in the backup later on for your turn 4. Next we have Bardock Awakened Instinct. This helps me dig through the deck further down if I need to see Combo Secret, if I need to see a 2-drop or a 4 cost in order for me to be able to evolve on top one of my battle cards. It's an overrun 4, which is convenient. You draw 2 and you pitch a card from hand. Next we have our 2 free negates, which are Bardocks. Limit 1, you free negate by warping your drop. It's you need 5 or more cards in your warp, and you can do that when you're at 4 or less. This comes very, very good when you Tenacious in turn 4, right? You can Tenacious, Power Burst, Power Protect the people into Bardock, then they really cannot go for game that turn, and secures you an additional turn where you can push for game with Maidens. Next, we have a 1-off in the main for Ultimate minus Energy Powerball. You can free play if you have a Unison. This card is specifically in the deck just for Panzino. Panzino, it's a very aggressive deck that can push with the Z battle card, the Gohan. This allows you to remove it at an active battle speed. No, counter window. You counter attack, warp it, 15 or less ignoring barrier. Before their auto resolves. Since the auto is going to beef them up, you want to get rid of it before that happens. And this card allows you to do it. There's one on the main, and then I have 2 additional ones on the side. Next, we have our negate package. We have 1 protector in the main. Negate attack, pitch a card, and then if you want to continue attacking with the battle cards, your leader gets a bean. We have 2 petrifications, negate attack, pitch a card, and you just say a card doesn't work for the turn until the end of your turn. Very good, especially against matchups like where they set up Combo Secret, or if you have a triple striker boo that they didn't do their active main to free play the 1-drop, you can take advantage of that with this petrification card. Next we have 3 token negates, 5 life, you can take a life to do it for free, and you negate the attack and you set up a blocker. And then we have 3 power bursts, sparking 5, negate attack, take a life, and then recycle one of your 1-drops. And that's it for the main deck. Next we have our Z deck, which in the Z deck we have our main card, which is Support Broadcast. The first ability is for the one that allows you to evolve on top one of your 2-drops for 1. And you can do this active main and active battle. The other ability is actually very powerful late game when you have most of your deck in the warp. Mid battle you can pay 1 to remove this card from the game, and then your Maidens card, Maidens Squadron, Maidens Squadron specifically, battle card. So you cannot use it on your leader swing. It has to be a battle card specifically. Will gain 5k per every other U2 in your warp. So every 2 equals 5k. There were a couple games where they let one of my Ribrianne swings go through, active battle, remove the field, and then she will get to like 120k, and then a dump hand. Very, very gross. Don't sleep on that active battle. Very powerful. Next we have a Chila Unison for early game setup. This is mainly to set up your drop and warp with an uptick. It's technically a floodgate. If you set up early game, they want to get rid of it to turn off your counterplays if you have it in hand. But for the most part, I didn't really go into Chila. I might take her out. Be going to a better Unison, which was the Demigod Unison. This Unison should not exist. It's super strong. Gives you wormhole for the game, for the turn. You get to overrun twice. You can tenacious. You can push with your counterplays. You can double counterplay overrun. Very strong. And it allows you to set up your drop by drawing 2, pitching 2 as well. This was my go-to unison around turn 3 for the most part. Early game will be Chilai. If I want to set it up turn 2, for the most part, was Demigra on turn 3. Next was the Vegeta unison. This is mainly here for yellow. In case it do Nimbus me, I'm able to get a solid swing through Nimbus, but I did not play this unison at all throughout the entire tournament. This and also Peoria. This might also come out for another Demigra unison. Next we have Hellas, which is the Z battle card that was meant for the deck. You can play her for 2 and 2 Z energy. She has deflect, dual attack. On play, you can send 2 cards from your drop to your warp to warp 2 of your opponent's battle cards. And then you have an active main limit 1 where you can gamble and then look at the top 2 cards of your deck and free play a U2 card or Maiden Squadron. This card, unfortunately, throughout both tournaments, Peoria and the online tournament this past weekend, did not come in at all. It's really good, but unfortunately, I don't feel like gambling when I'm trying to push for a game without getting my teeth kicked in. I don't want to gamble. I want to have secure removal, which is mainly on my deck, and also with this coming up card. If I want to invest 2 energy into a battle card, I want to make sure I secure the removal with Gohan, and I can get a real swing through with a very beefy double striker barrier that I can make sure this doesn't die too dormant. Hellas comes in, it's pretty good, but most of the time I want to go into the Gohan. Very strong card. Barrier, deflect, it has every keyword in the game, double strike, removes a card ignoring barrier that's greater than the energy, and it gains 5k for each Z cost. Like this on play and the Z extra, you already have an additional 15. This is a 30k double strike on swing and a removal ignoring barrier for 2 energy. Very strong. Hellas is good, but for the most part, I will go into the Gohan. I think I did go into Hellas once, and I hit the active main, and I was able to cheat out my beautiful 1-drop from the gamble. So after that, I was like, you know what, no Hellas, let me go into Gohan. Next, we have SS4 Son Goku, another easy way to remove a token negate, a token blocker, or an early removal. Pay 1 2Z, warps a card on play, and you can remove active main 10 cards from your from the game to give a double strike an additional 10k. Next, we have the side deck. The side deck is very crucial for the current meta. We already made 2 tenacious in the deck. We have an additional one, third one if I really need to see it against aggressive matchup like the Majin Buu or like Red Vegeta or another aggressive deck, maybe not Daimaku. Daimaku is not really that aggressive, but this really definitely come in. Panzino is another good one. Here we have 3 Heavenly Wizards. This is for the Buu matchup. I could play. There were other choices for this, but I feel like for example, Comer was a choice, but I want to make sure I have consistent super combos that allow me to fix my drop. And early game, if I'm able to see this, I can just combo it, get rid of it. Or if worst case scenario, I can get rid of it with a Gohan Z battle. So Combers came out, and then Demigorgs came in for the Buu matchup. Next we have Koitz. This comes in clutch against Power Witch, Panzino, Daimaku. There are multiple decks. This was my side-in to like every single matchup in both tournaments. Very strong card that allows you to push without worrying too much of your opponent's counterplays. Because if they decide to counterplay, they're gonna -2 cards out of hand. Hunt of the Demon God. This came in for the green matchup. In case you do a free dormant, I can counter the free dormant. This also came in for the Buu matchup. Unfortunately, I never used it. But it would have been cool if they triple strike me and they dump and then I use my Brainwash no more. Probably gonna come out of my side deck. Never used it. Set it in twice for the tournament, but it didn't really do anything. Next, I have 2 more Ultimate minus Energy Powerball that would side in for the Panzino matchup. 2 Super Kamehamehas that able to let me counterplay the opponent's plays, whether it's Damaku or Yellow, for example, if you want to repose or any type of counterplay or floodgate, I'm able to respond with this. Next, we have 2 Protector of the People to be able to make my leader beefier throughout the tournament, throughout the game, along with my Ribrians. I just needed more consistency, and I would side this in against, again, aggressive matchups like Boo and so on. And then last but not least, I have a one-off Frieza, Cooler, and King Cole Trinity card. For the ones that know me here, my locals, I'm a huge Frieza Clan fan. And this, to me, is a more secure Hellas. This has Deflect, opponent can counterplay it, and it's removal on play. You get to get rid of 2 cards from the battle area, and on swing you can get rid of 2 more. So if I would rather play this than Hellas. But this also never came into any of my games today in the tournament. And that's it for the side. My matchups were game 1 was I played against Yellow Daimaku. Love that deck. I'm probably gonna play that after this and see if I can take it to the next regional. I'm a huge Yellow player. I just normally play Yellow, Red, or Black. Top with Maidens now, happy with it. Now I'm gonna let Rockcliffe for Life take it, top and win with it, and I will move on to Yellow again. I want to see what I can do with Daimaku. The matchup was not really good for the Daimaku player. I was able to literally warp every single 1-drop out of the drop, and I believe he charged one 1-drop Goku, and the other 3 were gone, were warped forever. And all his 4-drops and 8-drops were just sitting in hand. After that, it was just really just a Maidens beatdown. Game 2 was, let me look at my record here. Game 2 was Boo. The move matchup, it's very scary because he can push so hard early game. I believe he put me to, or I let him to put me at like 4 or 3 life on their turn 2. And I was able to stabilize after that. He did catch me off guard because I was not expecting the secret. He played the blue Boo secret. Thank God I had a power burst in hand, but it would have been bad. He did come with 2 cards on my hand, but I was getting ready for Purunga, and the Boo really threw me off. The game came really close. It really came down to just combo power, to who had more combo power. It got to the point where he was not tenacious. He had one more swing for the game. He swung with Babidi Unison, and it was a 5K to my beefy leader. And then I was able to out-combo and then just win on the crackback. Game 3 was against Penzino, which was Legends. That matchup, unfortunately, I won through time, but it was a very good back and forth between both games. We were both clearing each other's boards. I was clearing his Unison, he was clearing my board. And it just came, we didn't realize that time passed so fast, and we ended up on time. I was able to tenacious, and then when I passed for turn, I was at 4 life. I believe he was at 2. He secret comboed me, but I had all the negates in the world in hand, and I was able to, stall enough until I was able to win through time, unfortunately. Hopefully next time we can finish the game. But it was a good game. Next matchup was Samasu. That was one of my losses, unfortunately. I decided my Super K's in, and unfortunately the deck did not want to see Super K's. I got Oceanus on turn 4, and then I got a double Oceanus on turn 5. And I just couldn't find, I coited him, I did everything I could, but I just could not find a Super K for my life. The Oceanus killed me. This deck really suffers because you do burst somewhat with your 4-drops. You're able to mill somewhat, but it sucks when you see Super K. So I lost that matchup. Next was Power Wish. Thankfully, I have a lot of practice with Power Wish at our locals with Rockcliffe for Life. He has made me crash out multiple times with Power Wish, where I'm trying to awaken. I used to play Golden Cooler, and I would try to awaken, and he just probably almost me 3 times in a row, and I would crash out. Anyways, that didn't happen this time. I was able to swing C charge instead of a C extra, And I know the game plan of what Power Rich wants to do. Wants to burn you. I stay at high life, 6 life the whole game. And then my opponent was able to burn me. He played Scramble and he put me to 4 life. And my opponent was burn the life down to 2. Couldn't kill, play convert, down to 1, go for game. Very, very good player though. Next was Gogeta BR. Gogeta BR, it's an interesting matchup. I was able to set up the Rosie and Gokuza combo and really dig in through their hand, force them to warp multiple cards out of their hand. Additionally, with the Rosies, you're able to warp their pieces from the drop, making it really hard for them to fusion into the Gogetas. It came down to really turn. I just asked cards in hand. They said forward. I was like, you know what, I'm going in. And I went in and I killed my opponent. Defeated my opponent. Very cool player. It just came down to just RNG for the most part. He wasn't seeing what he needed. And then Maidens just took it over. My last matchup was against a second matchup with Boo. This was with our good friend Barrier for DMG. That matchup was not good at all for me. He completely destroyed me really hard. He saw everything he needed, and I saw nothing I needed. He saw, triple striker. He saw regeneration on turn 1, which is really bad because I went second. And I want to set up my C extra, and he just regen, and I was like, well, GG. Pass, and then he just took over. Really turning this deck on not setting up that Z extra turn 1 can set you back a little bit, especially in the Boom matchup when they're so aggressive. And that was the last game of the tournament, putting me on 10th place.
All right, thank you very much. Would you like to talk about anything else? Any shout outs?
I would like to thank my team, Sick Gaming, Rocket League for Life. We got Jason or Reggie Studio Girl, the winner of the online tournament. Honestly, if he ran into me, he would have definitely lost. All right. And also thanks to AJ playing Samasu. But yeah, a lot of practice. We have a good vibe with our team, having fun. Doing what we love. Playing card games and hanging out with friends. So. Thanks to them and thank you to everyone.
All right, thanks again, and hopefully we'll see you around to the next regional.
Yeah. And then Xander sucks.